Hey guys, Eric here. Okay, so in the last video, I gave you guys a challenge. I said, listen, test your knowledge on the conditional loops that I sort of thrown at you, those concepts in the last few or so tutorials. And I said, listen, apply that knowledge into this output and write the code for this output. So pretty much duplicate this program, um, you know, and include your while loops in your if statements and all that. Your if, elif, else, all that. So I'm going to show you guys the code now. So that's pretty much it. And like I said before in the first test, there were multiple ways you could have wrote or written the first test, and I think there's actually some different ways you could have written this one too. Because anyway, in the first test, this is pretty much the first test. I just pretty much added on from there on. So all this is pretty much just what I added. So as you can see, we made use of the escape sequence. Here, you know. And then we used the if statements here. We said you can, whatever your variable is, I chose sin or sign. So if sign is 1, then we're going to print this out. And I mean, I didn't show you guys this part of the code or this either, but I mean, you guys could have been creative there. It's really up to you as a programmer, write whatever you think it should be. But for me, I put incorrect, it isn't blue, the correct answer is red, better luck next time. And I applied that same sort of technique for the next couple elifs. I pretty much just replaced the color, but I kept the same sort of concept, premise, it was included in each elif statement for each time you got it incorrect. For the else or the default, I said, you failed to follow instructions, you have failed the test. Because look, if you failed to type in a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4, I set up here to enter a 1, 2, or 3, or 4. And if the user chose not to type in something like that, then Python, like I explained before, would completely ignore all of this and act as if it's not even there, and is going to print out this, because this is the if all else fails, like default. So if you didn't follow instructions, you're going to get this because you didn't type in the 1, 2, or 3, or 4. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And if you guys maybe you've noticed, maybe you didn't, but I chose to use a raw input here when you're only entering in numbers, and I'm sure a lot of people are saying, well, didn't you tell us to use input if you're only using numbers and not characters? Well, sure, but the thing is, you can enter in numbers in raw input and be okay, and it would make sense. But if you were to use input there, and then someone didn't follow instructions, like I'll show you here. If they were to enter like 5, I don't know, it would say you failed to follow instructions, you have failed the test, because it's raw input. It could be numbers or letters here, because we're not adding numbers or multiplying numbers together, so there's no need to make it input. Just to keep things simple. And just to show you guys what would happen if we had this as input, let's just save this real fast, run it. Okay. So I'm gonna enter in 7. We get an error here because, well, it's an input. So if the user is just so blind and stupid and they're just gonna say, you know what, I'm so oblivious, I'm just gonna enter whatever I want, then yeah, that's what you're gonna get, an error, because you're entering in a string into an input, and as you can see here, doesn't work, does not flow with Python. We went through this in the first tutorial. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Next tutorial will probably be something where I'll throw a concept to you guys. But yeah, until then, subscribe and thanks.